Dillon Brooks, the name that NBA fans either love or hate. But no matter where you stand, one thing's undeniable. This guy works. I've been training Dillon since he was 16, and even back then, he had that fire in him. His defensive grit, his toughness, his relentless energy, that's not just God-given ability. It's built through years of disciplined work. Every rep, every drill, every ounce of sweat has been about sharpening his edge, making him one of the most intense competitors in the game today. In this episode, I'm taking you behind the scenes of the Villain's regimen, giving you a look at his workouts, preparation, and focused mindset it takes to compete at the highest level. Tap in.
How did you and Dillon start training together, and what was he like as a 16-year-old player?
Well, growing up, like we all, obviously, the Mississauga crew, most of us went to Father Gates. And the YMCA was a spot that, people kind of were made, if you want to call it. It was like an everyday thing, and generation after generation, if you want to call it, like those before us, and then it was us, and then there's the guys under us. Him, a couple of his buddies, Elijah Long, Cody John, were people I'd known prior for much longer. But they joined teams, they were playing together, and he started coming around a lot more. As a 16-year-old, full of energy, obviously, as you still see, very competitive, super protective of, his brothers, if you want to call it. Like, he's the villain now. He's kind of always had that role, but super talented, loved to play. He didn't like to train that much, I'm not gonna lie to you. He liked to play a whole lot more. It was one of those things where, drills would start and the attention span would just be like, yeah. Like, if we're not competing, I'm not really with it. So it was interesting to see, him continue to develop and mature. It started out with that, but again, I think it's the realization that, I'm special and I could take this game somewhere. You kind of got to tap in a little bit differently and be a little bit more meticulous about the way you approach your work. So things start to change for sure. In tapping into development, is something that I feel like everyone has to do at some point, especially in their career, if they want to have longevity and want to play at the highest levels.
How has DB's mentality and work ethic evolved over the years under your training?
His approach over these years, like every year has gotten better, in my opinion. There's summers that, we kind of would do short-term work, like 2 weeks, 3 weeks, and he'd be out in Phoenix, and come back, and then, do another week or so. And then I think he had some injuries earlier in the career too. But over these last couple of years, these last 3 years, I'd say especially, every summer felt like there was a big leap taken. For me, obviously, if we're not getting better at what we do every day, then, what are we doing? So for me, I feel like I've obviously, tapped in myself a whole lot more and tried to, do better, on my part, just to get him, to a level and kind of connect with him a bit more. So I feel, over these last couple of years, the bigger focus has been film. The bigger focus has been being more of a student of the game, and obviously just the consistency. So, he's bought into it a whole lot more, and his approach, wanting more, as I said, like wanting two-a-days, like that's not something that I'd ever seen from him. Maybe two-a-days where we're playing in the second workout, like we work out and we play later, but wanting 2 workouts in one day was, something that he wanted to do much more this summer. And, it was good to see.
DT's been, working out with me for a long time now, like 6, 7+ years, and I feel like this is the first year that I really unlocked and untapped a lot of his work, a lot of his game, and just holding me accountable on every single rep, being on time. We're getting in 2-a-days. We're getting in so much work. So I feel like just trying to embody who he is as a basketball player, as a man, is bringing me to great heights.
Defensive positioning, like your body positioning, a lot of the times, like when he's driving, like I think the time he gained at that time, you kind of jammed up. You don't even need to jam up because you're bigger than him. So it's bigger, like it's more high hand, slide, keep a good distance, but don't give him a free shot, of course. You know what I'm saying? Attach, but just not up. Not overcommitting. Just slide, use your length, high hand, contest.
What did the word accountable mean for you guys this summer?
Accountable this summer was, that was like, honestly, that was the word to meditate on, really. On the court, off the court, because it all comes back to the game. How you prepare, how your nights are, the type of sleeps you're getting. And then obviously when it comes to our actual training, just being present. I feel like being present and being engaged and being in the moment when you're training is so critical. Whatever the hell's going on, whatever is background noise, whatever could be happening, we're human beings, you know what I'm saying? But he seemed to be a lot more present when we focused on accountability. Because that's just you gotta focus on, that's that self-check. I gotta focus on what's my energy level like, what's my reps like, and you start to see the growth in that with him, because he starts to catch himself on certain things. I'm being lazy, bad hands, fuck shit pickup, so accountable was everything. And it helped him take a bigger leap in terms of his focus and his approach to this profession and this job.
All right, go in order. We got 12 of these. Good bump, run away. Good, post up, turn around baseline, get to it right away. So I want that one, every single one, to be like this, because here's the thing, they're setting doubles more so from a high side. No matter what position this guy's in, if this guy's a smaller guy, so Jack, say you're here, even if he's like kind of taking away baseline, it doesn't matter. Like you're at the size where this is like a Conley, or fuck, tomorrow it's Dame. If you bump like this and then do this, now I'm getting space. Like this is cool, but like this, if you're just like, they're not blocking it. You know what I'm saying? So no matter what, he's taking away.
DB's known for his defensive toughness, of course, but especially this year, he's developed an offensive package. Can you talk about that?
And I'll say this, for those that, for whatever reason, think that DB wasn't tough like before, and like before the whole poke the bear situation, that whatever everyone wants to highlight, DB's always had game. Like, let's just say that the role of the defensive stopper was highlighted a lot more in Memphis, and that was the role they wanted him to play. A lot of this is things that it's not really a thing where you can control your narrative, but that was the role that they wanted him at a higher level. So I think just reinventing himself, with just understanding what his tools are. He's got the size, he's got the strength, he's got the motor. And one thing DB's always been able to do is make tough shots. You know what I mean? He's always been a guy who can fade and hit off balance, crazy makes, and you're like, yo, this guy's just grooving, but like that's just who he's been. You know what I mean? And now it's just understanding, as I say, your build and the type of matchups that you're gonna have, and how you're gonna approach each matchup. So you gotta have a different blade for every or a different weapon for every matchup. You know what I mean? So trying to focus on one thing at a time. I feel like we narrowed things down a lot more this summer, and maybe we might work on one move for 2 weeks straight. You know what I mean? It feels like sometimes, and sometimes that's how you got to do it. Everybody learns differently, but that was something that I felt like worked really well for him. We watch it, we talk about it. You study it, you rep it, you repeat, you rep it, you repeat. Like it's continuous, and again, all that with accountability makes for a good recipe.
I want to get 1 and then 2 here. On these 2, I want it to be a quicker, lower shimmy. Here we go. Level changes. Nice. Very good, very good. Okay, what we'll do right out of this, secondary, I just want to back out, rock. One dribble, pull up, shoot with arc. Rock your jab from right there in the corner. Rocker middle. 1, 2, 1, 2. Good. Those are your 2, all right? 10 here. Baseline first. Yeah. You want middle first. Oh, yeah. That's middle. This is baseline. I want baseline first. This is middle first, bro. What are you talking about? Look, I did this. Back. I want middle first, because you did this. Baseline first. That's what I want. I want this first. I want 1, 2, 3. Just so we're not wasting, like getting extra. You know what I'm saying? Good. I'm just gonna get 3 before I switch sides. And all it is, again, off the catch, we're gonna get game rep on the spin seal now. So we're gonna go 1, 2. I wanna drop here, boom. I wanna put it down, fade. So 3 reps only. So it's swung to 3 reps. Go. 1, 2, boom, fade. Turn around. Very good. Nice.
What role does mental training play in Dillon's preparation, and how does he stay locked in, not only in tough games, but just in tough phases? Like, sometimes when all the media outlets are on him and Bleachers Report and what have you, how does he stay in, and how do you help him stay locked in?
He definitely has some of his own techniques. I know he's always been big on the breathing and talking about that. And sometimes, if you watch him in a warm up, after the anthem, even before the anthem starts, he'll be in that spot on the floor, just completely still. Again, those are things that, you're starving the distractions and you're just feeding focus. You're just locked in on one thing at a time. And I feel like he's been doing that for, quite some time, just for his energy. But from a technical standpoint or tactical standpoint, I feel like what we've been doing is, a lot of the film study. And I think that keeps him engaged and focused in a different way. And, you start to visualize, so whether it's, a matchup that he's guarding, what are their go-to moves? What do they like? What do they not like? Is it a guy that doesn't like being bumped? Do they like physicality? And then how they play defense. What are their habits? A lot of guys ball watch. A lot of guys don't handle post up well. And again, he has the tools to, attack each person differently. So I think when you study, and, of course, Kobe Bryant, that mentality that he always had and always spoke about film is something that I feel like everybody should kind of adopt, because it's like your cheat sheet. Like, watching film is your cheat sheet to prepare for the test. You know what I mean? So I feel like that's helped a lot, just to continue to keep him, as I said, engaged. And, we just gonna stick with what works.
What I'm working on, my shot preparation, the speed of my shot, to get it off quicker, and then just being more, I guess, herky-jerky, more hezzies, more, keeping the defense off balance, and then continuously putting my body on guys and creating space.
Finish. Yes, sir. 5 here, then we'll grab the water. These are easy. Take your time. Okay, we're just gonna go in and out between. Okay, pop, shot, nice and easy. Pull this one back quick. Pull this one back quick. 1, 2, nice. Good. Game up right here. Pull it back quick. 1, 2. There we go. Good. 5. 3 from the line. Shit. 3 makes.
How do you help DB adjust his training according to the NBA season? Like, obviously there's off-season work, maybe there's middle season work, maybe there's playoff work. Is there a difference?
Definitely. I I think it's really just being in tune with their bodies at that point. That's the number one thing. I feel like obviously in off season where you have no games that you're really playing, so you can kind of push the agenda a little bit more. But obviously in season, it's a lot of different factors with flights, back-to-back schedule, matchups. Sometimes your body's banged up. So the number one thing is just listen to the body. Of course, the volume is a little different. They're going to have walkthroughs. They're going to have practice where they still get shots up. So we don't got to overtrain. We don't got to do too much, but we try to keep it, 45 minutes to an hour. Again, the intensity is not the same. You're okay with taking time in between reps. We're not keeping the motor in between reps. Sometimes it's just like we go hard, we walk, we relax. So it's one of those things where you just modify the intensity. For me, I feel like, as the season goes on, progressively, like again, the scout is out there. Everybody got film. If people are smart, they're accessing that and they're seeing people's tendencies. So at this time of the year, I feel like is a time to add a couple more tools and add a couple more things that you can kind of use as a plan of attack, especially with people knowing what you've done for all 82 games. So for me in the playoffs, it's time to add a couple, new tricks to the bag. I think that's important. So during that time, it becomes a little bit more technical and skill development focused, but the reps are going to stay the same. Making a lot of shots, seeing the ball go through the net is confidence. So, yeah.
Go put the ball down right, 1, 2, and I'm going right to pick up. Shoot a right. We got 3 of these. So 1, 2, right, 2. Pick up, right. Very good. All right? 1, 2, 3. Very good.
All right, for the young athletes watching, what's the most important lesson they can learn from DB's training approach?
I would want to say, again, as we talk about consistency, that's probably the number one thing. Consistency and accountability. Those two things are super important. And with consistency, it's not just being on the court. Your body is everything, right? And for the younger athletes, you guys may feel good now, your bodies may feel great now, but as you get older, the recovery time, it changes. It's not the same, So what you want to do is, take care of the little things off the court, the stretching, the sleeping, the eating habits, the hydration, all of those things. Being consistent in that is important. And then, from a basketball standpoint, we talk about being an expert at things or mastery, getting your reps, I feel like is, without question, as growing up as a player, like obviously, like for me, I was making 500 a day. I was trying to do that, and that was just something that I felt like gave me so much confidence. So, that's something that he wants to do, make a lot of shots. And I think, as I say, that's one of the things that people lose sight of, and it's process. It's called boring, if you want to say. But fall in love with the boring stuff, be consistent in that. And, every day it's accountability. That's the biggest thing I would say.
All right, this is even a message for the trainers. What's some of the things that they should be approaching this game with in today's day?
Trainers. I mean, I feel like it all comes back to film, I guess because it is a social media era and a lot of people put out things that, may look cool or, may get a lot of clicks or whatever the case may be. But as I said, the boring stuff is important. I feel like watching film and understanding the game, understanding the evolution of the game is important because it's ever changing. You know what I mean? The floor spacing, the way it's officiated, and the game is always evolving. There's different footworks that are bending the rules. So being up to date with those things is critical. And again, bigger picture besides the specificness towards the game. The bigger picture is also just being more personable. You know what I mean? Being able to connect with the player, because it's one thing to be able to give them a good workout, but being able to connect with them in other areas, just off the court, life, whatever it may be, I think that's important as well. Just gonna help you get more out of them as well. It's more trust as well. So yeah, just be a good person, be yourself, and have your own approach to it, but be a student of the game.